imports of IT hardware in India. Weeks and months after that ban of IT hardware, including laptops, palm tops, servers, something that industry was, really gearing up to protect itself, what to do in case of a rising demand, because the notification that came out on 3rd of August was to be implemented immediately. There was some relief. It will now be implemented from 1st of November. But the latest that we have is that IT hardware imports into India are in fact at an all-time high.
Right.
Jumping as much as 50% in the month of August from July.
Right. It sort of reminds me of, how, you suddenly people start stocking up on cigarette packets before the budget. Because that the budget, they're going to hike cigarette taxes on cigarettes, and it's going to you're like, all right, before that happens, let me just stock up on as many cigarettes in the old price as possible. So clearly the new legislation or the new regulation regarding, tablets and PCs to be made in India, to only to be used with those that made in India, that kind of a regulation kicking in. Obviously, there was a lot of callback to the license Raj. The possibilities of a license Raj being coming back with a regulation like that, where the government decides whether you get to make a laptop or not, or a tablet or not, and only then do you even get to sell that laptop or a tablet in this market. Now, with that kind of regulation did strike fear in the hearts of so many big players. I mean, Dell, Lenovo. You suddenly start seeing these people reacting. So, if you ask me, I think this is a build-up to that. What people don't know what's going to happen from the 1st of October. So, I think I think it's a reaction to that.
Right, and 1st of November, in fact, is the timeline given to IT hardware companies. Also interesting that we've been discussing and news of many more takers for IT hardware PLI. Almost 40 companies have applied for that PLI. There were no takers at the start of this year. Suddenly you have a ban that kicks into place from immediate or with immediate effect. Then later there is a hue and cry. The government says, fine, we're going to give you 3 more months to recalibrate, to figure out new supply chains, to start making in India and start applying for that PLI scheme.
Yes.
Start applying for those incentives that we were giving to you, that we have doled out for you. And there is an uptick there, but also in the run-up to the festive season, and since we are discussing festive season, the demand that is likely to go up for white goods, exactly, and servers, palm tops, laptops, PCs, more and more people are going to buy it towards the end of September, which is when people start buying more. And companies, they're preparing to stock up to meet that demand. They don't want to be caught in a place, in a moment where they do not have enough supplies to meet that rising demand. And that is now happening. So let's quickly also run our viewers through what has happened so far. Remember, DGFT banned, the Directorate General for Foreign Trade banned imports of IT hardware back in August. 3rd of August was when that ban was notified. Laptops, PCs were put in restrictive category. The order was then deferred because of hue and cry from the industry. They said we're not prepared for it just as yet. And the implementation was deferred to 1st of November. Remember, after this, we are now looking at an import surge for the month of August, possibly also going into September, which is what a lot of companies and a lot of suppliers are talking about. An import surge of as much as 50% will perhaps also go into September and October as the ban kicks in from 1st of November. It exceeded to 1.2 million units in the month of August from 800,000 in the month of July. And license Raj, since we're talking about license Raj, this was the start of it all. Fears around why government and should government in the first place go back to a draconian license Raj where companies will have to apply or procure a license if they want to import from other countries.
Or sell anything, especially the thing is that electronic goods have become the focus, and that's where you see consumption never abating as far as electronic goods are concerned. People are going to be consistently buying phones and laptops and tablets all the time. Nothing is going to stop them, and they're not big ticket items like cars, which makes them think twice, thrice. And these days they're not thinking about cars. Car sales are going through the roof, and they're willing to invest multiple lakhs of rupees and in big ticket purchases. I mean, phones these days, unless you have an iPhone, people don't hold on to it for more than a year. If you're on an iPhone, you want to hold on for a year. So the propensity for consumption is extremely high. So the
Absolutely.
government obviously looking at it as an opportunity where if there is so much propensity for consumption and demand, how about we serving that demand? The only thing is that I really wish that thought had come in when already work on electronics manufacturing has already progressed beyond a particular stage, especially to feed the demand of a country like India with more than 1.4 billion people. And those are the fears that struck people's mind when the moment the regulation came about. And
So
clearly,
the idea is essentially to make in India. It's
To
important
make in
to
India
make in
some-
India for Indians. You've got to make in India.
it's like, I'll give you another analogy. It's like movies. Let's make Indian movies that India can enjoy, because so many Indians, especially English-speaking ones and English-thinking ones, just want to do away with Indian movies and just watch Hollywood movies. So that's like giving away revenues to Hollywood movies and giving away money to people from outside. So we should make Indian movies and us going and consuming it ourselves and keeping the money within India. So in that sense, that's the level of consumption with which is going to happen with electronics as well.
Okay.
It's our laptops, our PCs, so that's a future we're looking at. And that future, I mean, fingers crossed that we have enough and more manufacturing units being set up, enough and more jobs being created, beautiful and more Indian brands coming up selling lovely laptops and PCs. That's the beautiful future that we're envisioning.
No,
but for now,
Krishna,
that means a draconian legislation that reminds you of license flags.
And not just for now, I think fears will also and continue to persist around quality, because if you've got to make in India, you've got to source from India, you've got to localize, and for that you've got to find the right supply chains, right partners, and procure within the country. Are we prepared is the question. Are we going to compromise on quality for making in India? That's the fear a lot of people have at this point.
If I can be devil's advocate, you're absolutely right in asking a logical question like, are we prepared? But they say you can't be every single time wait for yourself to be completely prepared to start.
Okay.
You've got to start somewhere. So this will be the devil's advocate's argument to your argument, saying that no, we don't look like we're prepared, but we've got to start sometime. So but is this the way to start? Then that's a separate debate about how to improve Indian production of electronics. Just to give some numbers in perspective, Shweta, right now, you have a state like UP and Tamil Nadu, which is not comparable on any counts. But you can compare these two states when it comes to electronics manufacturing, because these two states are competing. UP, incidentally, manufactures more electronics items than Tamil Nadu does. So, you have a huge potential for electronics manufacturing in this country. Non-manufacturing states like UP have the chance to leapfrog the likes of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka if they get their policies right, if they get their investments right, get the right private players to come and start investing in electronic manufacturing plants right here in Noida, and Greater Noida, famous for electronics manufacturing in UP, the hub of electronics manufacturing in UP. So, sitting in Noida, I'd have to be a little bit positive about India's ability to manufacture its own PCs and tablets at this stage.
All right.
I am sure we're not fully ready.
Okay.
I agree with that hypothesis completely. But fingers crossed, let's hope we're ready as soon as we can. In the meanwhile, we're stocking up on imports.
All right. We're stocking up on imports, India moving perhaps, as some would say, towards more protectionist policy.